it's injuring them, so you don't
Whenever
want to do
you're
that.
ready.
Right, which is why I don't practice snare as much as I should.
They actually have $15 earplugs for practicing snare that have holes in them, so that lets the tone through, but not the decibels. So that's what I always use when I'm practicing. Not that you guys all need to go out and buy those, just FYI.
No, yeah, I might get them because if I'm playing again after college, I was sitting in front of the snare.
Oh.
It was terrible.
If you're in front of the suspended cymbal, that's the worst.
Thankfully, that thing was
So,
that way behind me.
snare drum just kind of drills through your head after a while, just gives you a headache. But
Yeah.
suspended cymbal is so loud.
Oh, yeah, well, what about crash cymbals?
Yeah.
That I'm playing for that one.
Can you give us the order again?
Yeah, sure. So basically what I'll be doing, I'm playing through a progression of snare drum pieces, starting back with the roots of rudimental drumming, specifically in Europe and in America. So I'll be starting off with Downfall of Paris, which is a traditional fife and drum piece. It was popularized in the Civil War, but the drum piece was around a lot longer than that. And this is in a style that would have been played in the American Revolution and even before that. That's really the root of the rudimental drumming that we see, and it's found its influence into lots of other genres as well. So then after that, I'll be playing pieces from different genres that were influenced by it. So I'll be playing Drums Along the Potomac, which was written in the 1950s, late 50s. So I'll actually be playing on this drum today. I didn't bring the other one over, but it's same sound. And then I'll be playing a concert set of pieces, the Three Dances by Warren Benson. And then I will be playing pipe band snare. And so rudimental drumming in Europe took a different direction than it did in America. So in Europe, the pipe band tradition, so there's rudimental drumming that's used to accompany the bagpipe bands, and that's what I'll be playing a solo written for pipe band drumming. And so that drum has two sets of snares, so it's a lot more sensitive, less just raw power, whereas this drum is more built for louder, filling up stadiums. I'll be playing Opus 10, which is a more modern snare solo for marching snare. So start off with Downfall of Paris. Try to keep it as low as possible and still get all the notes in. so since we're in a group of mostly percussionists, I can explain a little more than I would have said at the percussion ensemble concert, just sort of how this developed. So this next piece from the 1950s, Drums Along the Potomac, is actually really similar in style to this piece. It's a lot of the same rudimental stuff is used in it. Mostly it's just a tempo change and then just some hybrid rudiments. So it, like for example, they use some tied roll figures. So at the end of the piece, it transitions into 6/8, and it uses some dotted rhythms of, and then it puts roughs between in the space to sort of make this kind of sound like accents in a roll type sound. So it's mostly just playing off of the rudiments already in it, and it was played at a higher speed because this was more for marching band type stuff, not as much for military. Like even what I played here would have been a fairly high tempo for what they would have been playing back then, because they're either 60 or 96 would have been their marching speeds at the time. So this would be a little higher speed than that. So yeah, 60 would have been like for long marches, like day-long marches, which feels slow, but it's a steady walking pace.
Right.
So whereas this would be somewhere between 96 and 120. So Drums Along the Potomac. Next, I will be playing Three Dances by Warren Benson, which is a concert piece, but there are still some similarities that I noticed, even in rudimental style. But it draws from different styles as well. For example, the second movement, the foxtrot, you can definitely see similarities to some like jazz grooves and stuff that were going on at the time. So I found that was interesting as well. first piece I'm going to be playing is Salute to Max Rain. It's a piece by Alex Duthert, and he is one who's credited with really developing pipe band snare music. And so he added a flashiness and a showiness to that drumming that wasn't really common before. So he took something like you would hear in Downfall of Paris, is that sort of just some really like open sound, and chalked a lot of stuff into it. For example, he loved flams, the grace note, and he saw that as a way to add a lot of texture to the rhythm. So like there's a section just to show you like a few measures ago. And so instead of going, the way he would alternate and put accents and flams makes it have a lot more texture, which I think is interesting. Should I wait for him to come back?
Maybe just go.
Just go. Okay. Well, okay.
Just checking on Ryan.
Okay. And then the other thing I should add is there's addition of technique called backsticking, which is playing with the butt of the stick instead of just the tips. And so he saw that not only as a technique for like showmanship, but he also saw it as a way to add even more timbre or texture change to the piece, because like you can hear the difference in. So he saw it as a way to sort of change tones as he was playing, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, so here is Salute to Max Rain. piece is Opus 10. It's a marching snare, modern solo, and it's really just a combination of a lot of the styles we've already seen, just basically pushing the same rudimental stuff just to a higher level of speed.
Okay, good.